Welcome to Bridging the Gap, If These Walls Could Talk. All right, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining the show today. I've got Zita, my co-host. Good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
We've got an interesting guest today. I'm really curious to dig into some of what their business does because they really serve the industry in multiple different fronts, different products and solution suites. But Chris Radi from McVay, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
I'm excited for this conversation. So for Top Contractor, we do coaching for construction businesses and leaders. And this is really kind of where I dig in. So I'm curious to hear what we're talking about today. But Chris, if you could maybe first introduce yourself. And then I'm excited to hear about McVay. But I really want to start where the business started a couple of years ago, because there's been some mergers and different pieces of the business that have been brought together. So if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, and then let's talk a little bit about McVay.
Absolutely. Love to. And thanks again for having me. My name's Chris. I'm a Pittsburgh native. My family moved to Pittsburgh when I was 9 years old, and my family, my mom and dad were both Western Pennsylvania natives. So roots deep here in Pittsburgh. Professionally, my background is actually not in the trades. I spent most of my career in IT and IT leadership. And I made the change 18 months ago to help lead the team at McVay. There had been a lot of change, a lot of growth, a lot of new challenges and opportunities there. And Mike, the owner, Mike Arendosh, invited me to join the company. And he's somebody that I've known for a long time. And so knowing him, knowing his personality and his integrity, I jumped at the opportunity.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And thank you. And McVay is a great company. A lot of roots in Pittsburgh, 50 years of history. And it came from merging together of three companies. So the namesake, McVay Plumbing, was a company that was founded by a guy named Mike McVay in the Verona area. And I think he did that about 30 years ago. And he pioneered the trenchless sewer line replacement in Pittsburgh. He didn't invent the technology, but he was the first guy to bring it to Pittsburgh. So he built a name for the business in that he could do this trenchless sewer line replacement. And they have been doing that for forever. Mike Arendosh acquired that organization in 2017. He wanted to try something new, and his father had been in the trades all of Mike's life, and his father owned a business called Arendosh Heating and Cooling. So when he was ready to move on and pass the torch, Mike acquired Arendosh Heating and Cooling and merged that with McVay. I think that was in 2023. And then in 2024, there was another merger with a great company called Mr. Sewer. Jason Doherty was the owner and leader of that company, and they were out of the South Hills. So it was a great synergy, right? You've got the East and the North covered, and then adding a great location and a great group of people out of the South brings together these three great companies to be a really large player in the plumbing, heating, air conditioning, electrical space in Pittsburgh.
So it's interesting. So multiple different businesses all come together as one. And so now I'm curious for the logistics piece, right? So you've got South Hills that is originally the sewer, Verona that was another component. Like how do you determine where people are based? Is it based on where they live, that they're hubbed out of that location? Or because I know you guys have multiple different locations around the city.
Absolutely. We have three locations. And I mean, if you think about Pittsburgh, it's not one of our strengths is not that it's easy to navigate, right? My aunt won't cross the bridges or go through tunnels, right? So that's common in Pittsburgh. So it's nice to have little depots around the city. We decided that Gibsonia would be our headquarters. And so we tried to concentrate our administrative function, our back office function, our leadership functions there, because you need to have kind of a cohesive leadership team in one place. And that's been working out really well. A lot of growth there. We can, like, our building is constantly under construction because we're adding offices and things like that. And then the other locations, it depends on the type of work. HVAC, we dispatch people out of the north and the east, and we're looking to start that in the south soon. But we'll go anywhere, right? And it's nice because when you have those three locations, we can kind of almost accommodate employees as close to where they live.
Sure.
So if an employee lives in the East and there's a function out East, they don't have to drive all the way to Gibsonia to work for McVay.
Right.
And then also we have a lot of service plumbers and service HVAC people. So these are folks that are like the first line of defense when you have a plumbing problem or a HVAC problem with your system, and it might not need replaced. Maybe it just needs a part, or maybe there's just a configuration issue or something like that. A lot of those folks will dispatch straight from their home.
Okay.
So they'll take their trucks home. They'll wake up in the morning. They'll look at their application and they'll say, "Oh, I'm going to plumb today,"
Yeah.
and they'll just head straight to the customer's house.
Okay.
That's convenient too.
Yeah, it's nice, and it's a good benefit for the employees too. They don't have to drive their personal vehicle, put miles on it, and then they don't have to spend time driving just to get somewhere to pick up a truck.
Well, it's time saving. I would think that's cost saving. So that's probably where you came in, right, with some of this logistics.
Yeah,
to figure all that out.
Absolutely.
So I'm interested to hear, how many total employees do you have, maybe from a leadership perspective as well as in the field?
Sure. Yeah. We're up over 100 now.
Okay.
100 employees. I don't know the exact count because we've added 2 this week, right?
Yeah.
But I think we're probably around 105.
Okay.
Leadership team is good. Counting them up, we have ops managers over our HVAC division and over our service plumbing division. I act as the operations manager for our sewer and drain division, as well as a general manager for the company. So I kind of filled 2 roles there, but we're actively trying to place somebody in that role, in the ops manager role. So those 3 big pillars, we want to have a good, strong leader in place because each of those businesses is kind of a nice sized company by itself.
Right. I was going to suggest that.
Yeah. So we need to have that leadership in place. And then we have a great guy, Tyler, who's responsible for our back office function. He's our controller, and he manages accounts receivable and payroll and things like that. Awesome. Kathy is responsible for our marketing team. And she essentially works with radio stations and print and digital and, handles all of that marketing function.
Yeah.
Let's see. Call center. We have a call center manager who has a ton of experience and has run very large call centers, and he's bringing a ton of talent and organization to, that's Lance, doing the call center. I'm leaving somebody out. Lynn runs our warehouse, right? So stocking and managing equipment and supplies and materials in 3 different locations and 3 different business lines, 4 now, is challenging, right?
Oh, so her hands full.
She's busy every day.
She might need a partner.
For sure. I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out, but it's a small, tight leadership team. Yeah. And then of course, Mike and Becky Arendosh, the owners, they're always, they're the visionaries, they're the leaders, they're the ones who bring the culture and the great background and the history of the business. So they're always working in the business every day and helping out wherever the help is needed.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So as I think about remote workforce, just the time savings that you mentioned, it's always interesting. I think a lot of times people fear like the working from home, or, I think on our last show, we talked about the whole work from home, how it shifted with the pandemic and, some of those changes. But now it's a benefit to be able to give people that flexibility to start from home. And, if they have a fully stocked truck that they're taking to their first stop, then it's just a convenience. And, so maybe they have more family time that they've got at home in the mornings, right? Or they're getting their kids on the bus to school or whatever. It's definitely a benefit. So I'm sure that contributes to the culture,
absolutely,
to the business.
Yeah.
How do you guys manage culture? Excuse me. How do you manage culture when you have such a remote workforce that's in the field, that's serving the customers every day?
Yeah.
I know you mentioned the owners are very hands-on with the culture, but how does that translate to the people that are remote? Yeah,
I think, the word manage and culture in the same sentence is tricky, right? Because culture is that type of thing where if you work too hard at it, it gets worse. It's almost the type of thing where it's you have to sort of light a fuse and hope that what you did does the right thing. And sometimes the leaders of the business aren't necessarily the leaders of the culture.
Right.
Right. And so how do you manage that? Well, shoot, I don't have an answer to that question, but we try to foster a good culture. We try to add to the culture. But really the culture is managed by the people. Right. We have a pretty strict rule. I don't think it's written anywhere, but we just don't want bad attitudes, negative people on the team. That is a quick culture killer. We want people to be accountable to their peers. And so, when we have folks that just can't seem to enjoy what they do, we help them find something that they do enjoy doing. Right. And so I think that's a big contributor to a positive culture, is just making sure that there's not a lot of grumpy people around you, and we're enjoying what we do, and we're coming to work every day. And look, we're some days we have to dig deep holes that have sewer lines in them, right? And so that's like, and it's raining and it's cold, right?
Yeah.
And you can't expect everybody to be walking on sunshine all the time,
right?
But you treat them well, and you make sure that when somebody shows up to help them, they're not grumpy about it.
Yeah.
And then in addition, we try to give our team really good benefits. We want to be the employer of choice in Pittsburgh. So great benefits, bonuses and performance pay and events. We're going to a ball game in June because we hit some sort of sales target a couple months ago, right? So we just try to do things, have fun, and give people the tools they need to get the job done.
Yeah.
There's a million answers to that question, but I hope that was sufficient.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So walk us through each of the different components to the business. And I know when we were at the Lux 10 event, you had an entire group there. You guys sponsored one of the meetups that we had in person, which was great to get to meet all of the different people in your red shirts. And tell us about the different department heads and kind of their responsibilities that help the people in the field that are your end clients.
Absolutely. So operations managers are the first kind of owner of each of those business units. So think of them as a miniature CEO of that business. Right. They're responsible for hiring, firing. They're responsible for onboarding their departments, getting guys trained. I shouldn't say guys and girls trained. Essentially running that business. Underneath them, we typically have, so for HVAC is a good one I'd like to talk about. We have a service manager, CJ, who does an excellent job, and he comes from being a tech, right? So this is an example of somebody that was really excellent at his trade, showed leadership, has the respect of his team members, and he was promoted into a leadership role. And, He basically helps to work through problems. He coaches the guys when they're in the field. If they have problems or they run into issues, he's there to help and assist. He can run calls if he needs to, if we're like super overwhelmed or, have a 5-degree day outside and we have 10 no heat calls, like he'll go out and run calls in case that happens. Those types of things. Then on the other side of HVAC is new installations. Right? And so a lot of times we'll get called out for a service call, and sometimes the repair is either as expensive or as close to as expensive as just replacement. And so a lot of our customers like to, invest in their home and put a new system in. And so we have an install coordinator who helps to essentially order the equipment, receive it, get it coordinated, and then we stage it in our warehouses so that when the install crews come in, they just pick up everything in bin 2 and get moving, right? So they don't have to think about, I need to go get this or that. Everything's ready to go for them. So that install coordinator is a really important job there as well. And then other leaders, we have supervisors. So there's an install supervisor who does kind of more of the hands on the ground, like the boots on the ground work with the install team, and will help to resolve problems or challenges they face. And I think that's pretty consistent among our teams. We have that sort of structure where we have leaders in charge of service, leaders in charge of installation and repair, and then the sales function, which we haven't even talked about. Yeah.
So are there different folks for the different components, right? So you have sewer, you have plumbing, HVAC, electrical. Like is that divided by the trade, or is it, somebody's responsible for multiples? Like what does that look like, and how do you keep control over all of those different trades that you guys do? We manage in silos and verticals, right? So those verticals are above ground plumbing, right? And that's basically anything that's not sewer and drain related. Anything above the basement floor would be considered our above ground team. So that's hot water tanks, tankless hot water heaters, garbage disposals, leaky faucets, anything like that. And we'll even help out with rough-ins or even some light commercial. If people are doing renovations, we will come in and do the plumbing to prepare them for those renovations. So that's one. HVAC is another, so that's a vertical. And sewer and drain is a vertical, and electrical as well. So those are all verticals in our organization, and we manage them as independent teams. However,
the collaboration never ends, right? Yeah. Every morning we're on a huddle. It's really common in the trades, but you get on a morning huddle with your leadership team and talk about how you did yesterday.
Right.
Talk about what challenges we're going to face today. If we didn't do well yesterday, what are we going to do today to make up for the loss yesterday?
Right.
And what's great about that is there's always collaboration opportunities. I'll give you a good example. We had a guy get a flat tire in the East, right, plumbing team, and there was an HVAC team member near him, and they could come and help him out, with a flat tire, right? And normally, you wouldn't have that cross collaboration,
right?
Or if you need a part that's commonly stocked on a truck for HVAC as well as on the plumbing trucks, you have this like all these little miniature warehouses driving all over the city, and you can lean on that scale and that collaboration across department.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, you've obviously created that type of environment where people feel like they want to help each other out, which is nice. I mean, it sounds like you have a pretty well-oiled machine running on all aspects. So.
Yeah, and it's not because of me, for sure. It's a testament to the people that work there. They're people truly care. They help each other, and I think plumbers and HVAC techs and electricians, they all got into the trades because they like to fix stuff or they like to work with their hands.
Right.
They enjoy a challenge. And so when you give them an opportunity to help or do something different than what they've been doing all day, every day, they're like, yeah, let me at it. Right. Yeah. And so we have an above ground plumber. There was a dig out in East Liberty.
Okay.
And something went wrong there and we needed help. And he's like, yep, he got there before I did. And, things all worked out. So, yeah.
So as we go through and you're probably in a ton of different homes and your team is really across the marketplace doing a lot of different stuff. So kind of curious where this ends up. But if these walls could talk, we always ask, like, what's the crazy thing that I'm thinking as you guys are digging, right? These sewers and, is there something that you found a coffee can of money in a backyard, or like what's the story that stands out for you as a memorable, I can't believe we came across this, or
I think I can't think of anything. I think one of our guys took out an old toilet out of a home that was like the frame was even wooden.
Oh wow!
And it was one of the pull string styles, and it makes me think of The Godfather, where the gun was hit,
right?
Like one of those like toilet, and he brought it back in his truck, and the homeowner wanted it replaced with a modern toilet, and he's like, "Look at this thing!" I'm like, "Whoa, that's cool." But unfortunately, the things we typically find when we're digging are sad, like broken taps into a sewer main, or sinkholes, not bad sinkholes, but like areas where water has washed away earth, and now there's this big problem underground, and we've got to get triaxles of stone to come and backfill this void, like those types of things. What we typically unearth. I wish I had a better story for you. Yeah, there's either that or the guys just don't share it with me.
Right.
All right. But yeah, no, we haven't. Nobody's quit on the spot because they found a sack of money. Unfortunately, yeah.
They're probably all pretty interesting, though. When you start thinking about like any type of plumbing, you're like, oh my gosh, none of them are like all that, I'm sure, exciting.
Yeah.
Right. So they're all probably a little bit scary.
Yeah. It's dangerous work. Anytime you dig in the ground, it's possibly dangerous, right? You could hit a gas line, you could hit a water line, you could,
electrical's probably
electrical, sure. Communication lines are very scary. They're really hard to repair. So all those things are dangerous and scary, but it's all about training. It's all about repeating safety, making sure safety is the number one priority, and giving folks full license to like say, hey, wait, we're stopping. We need to make sure we take care of this problem we're facing right now.
Yeah.
So, Chris, real quick, I just, one of the things I wanted to ask you about was, what really do you feel that you're known for? Like, you've brought these 3 companies together, right? Yep. Mm-hmm. And, we were talking a little bit before we were on air just about what you were mentioning, some different features and things that you guys do, services that you offer that I wasn't even aware of. And I know you, right? Yeah. So maybe you can just kind of share a little bit about that, just quickly. Let us know, like, so people know how to reach out to you. Sure. Did you think like McVay Plumbing totally makes sense? We're going to call you we need a new sewer line. Sure. You might have a leaky faucet, but beyond that.
Yeah, I would say the namesake is really known for that trenchless sewer line replacement and solving sewer problems. And we we solve a lot of the problems that other, this isn't about throwing shade, but other plumbers just maybe either aren't equipped to handle or don't want to handle. So if you have to excavate in the road, that becomes a very costly and complex and difficult job, right? And I think it's probably more of a distraction for some companies, but we have the bandwidth and the knowledge and the back office team that can support something like that. So I think in the sewer and drain world, we're known for being able to get it done. And a lot of our business comes from real estate, and we're known for getting it done within the closing timeline, right? If sewer repairs.
All these infamous dye tests that go on, right?
Yes. Unfortunately, a lot of folks have failed dye tests, and we know it really well. We know the municipalities, we know the requirements, we know what needs to be done, and we understand the importance of closing on time. So like for us, we've got that reputation.
And you have the staff
to
handle it. So.
We've got the horsepower to be able to do it. Yep, absolutely. Heating and cooling, I think we're just a good, honest, good quality work and a competitive price company, right?
And what brands do you typically install?
Well, that's great.
I'm sure you work with a lot of them, but just like
we do basically anything. But most commonly Lennox, Bryant, and Fujitsu. We've been doing some Fujitsu ductless systems. Sorry.
Okay.
Fujitsu ductless systems. But yeah, we are not brand specific. And I think even in some of our radio spots, we say any brand, any place, like we'll take care of it. Yeah. And there's not a tremendous amount of differences between the brands. I think brand loyalty in terms of what you sell and install helps with speed and expedience of installation. Everybody kind of knows the system, and so that helps. But we don't want to get so tied to a single brand that if there's something better that comes out tomorrow that we don't pay attention to it. Like we want to attack it, right? If there's something new or great, or honestly, if there's a better price on Bryant this month, that we want to pass that on to the customers. So that's what we're going to install this month.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you mentioned something about generators.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to bring that up just because so the audience knows that's something you guys do as well.
Absolutely. And if, I guess that one of the challenges about podcasts is they live forever. So, but recently in Pittsburgh, we've had some storms. People were a week or more without power, and we were able to do generators. We're certified for Generac installation. We do Honeywell as well. I think those are similar product lines. So, So we're able to do that. We're working on getting Kohler certified as well. It's a great option for homeowners. And I think people look at a generator and say, "Oh man, that's so expensive," right? It's so expensive to install a generator. That's only for like certain folks, right? It's not for me. But when you think about what we all lived through probably a couple of weeks ago with a week or more being out of power, it's like you threw away everything out of your fridge. You had to go out to eat how many days in a row. And also you're uncomfortable. Thankfully, it wasn't super warm at the time, but if it was in the middle of summer, then you're sweating and whatever.
Week, right?
You can't charge your phones. You can't charge your cars. You can't,
laptop,
all this stuff. It's a
dysfunction.
So I think it's like the ultimate luxury to have a generator, but when I think about it, it's like, is that really a luxury or just kind of a necessity? So for folks, it's an expense that I think a lot of people are taking a closer look at. And I think we've had like a long power outage every summer for the last few. So it's becoming more popular.
Yeah. I think the biggest challenge that we face in my household is that the garage doors don't open.
Oh, yeah.
When the power's out, right? So we don't have a key to our house. We have locks on the front and back, deadbolts, but we always come and go from the garage. Well, when the power's out, then we're screwed. What do we do at that point? It's like
you're literally picking the lock or breaking a little window, right?
Yeah. So I just recently bought new garage door openers, and we found ones that have a battery backup. When I saw it, I'm like, I don't care what they cost. I'm getting a garage door opener that has a battery backup, because we don't have a generator on the house. And, I know you mentioned earlier, like there's ways that you can assign like only certain components in the house. Well, the first thing I would assign is the garage doors.
That's a great idea.
Because we couldn't get in otherwise. So it was like a no brainer for me. Like, oh, hey, I'm getting the battery backup. But like generator is a great idea.
Well, that was a smart point I know that you made earlier, just saying that you could get a smaller unit, which maybe is more in the budget for some families where you can still afford to get the generator because maybe you just focus it on certain areas.
Yeah, a lot of folks really want to make sure, I didn't think about garage doors, but yeah, a lot of folks want to make sure their fridge is covered. You probably want the main TV in the house covered. You want your furnace on there. So even if you have a natural gas furnace, if you can't run the fan, you don't have heat. So you want to make sure that's on there. Maybe a bathroom and a kitchen or something like that. You don't necessarily have to light up your whole house.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as the laundry works, right? Somebody's going to want to do laundry while the power's out.
I guess you're right.
It's an extra step.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as we wrap things up, how do people connect with you? You guys are big on social, right? So Facebook, they can find your website. Do you guys have Instagram, Twitter? Like, where do people look for you guys?
Yeah, I think Facebook's a good place to go. We do have an Instagram account. Most of our content comes out either via radio or we do Facebook postings. So those are there. Look for McVay Plumbing on both of those platforms. Our website is callmcvay.com. So it's MCVAY.com.
Yeah.
And honestly, give us a call. Our call center folks are awesome, and they love to talk to folks out in Pittsburgh.
That's awesome. So it's come up several times on our shows now, and we're in Pittsburgh and you're in plumbing, so I'm going to ask you about this. So we talked about the Pittsburgh potty.
Oh yeah.
So how many Pittsburgh potties have you guys removed or replaced? Where does that rank in some of the plumbing work that you guys do?
Or before you answer that, do you tell them you're not allowed to remove it because it's a staple, right?
That's true. Like I don't remember getting a lot of requests to say just eliminate that.
Okay.
So I think that's like a safety blanket for a lot of people. Like it's a security blanket. It's that potty's down there. So if one of these other potties clogged, I'll have this one. Right. So yeah, no, I don't think there's a ton of requests.
Framing in them, like you're telling someone to frame in and like actually make a full bath out of it.
Why not? Right. Yeah, no, the Pittsburgh potty is everywhere. And sometimes you need to pull the Pittsburgh potty to gain access to snake a drain.
Okay.
Right. So it's a great access point for our team sometimes.
Nice.
If you need to snake and you don't have another good
already
access
there,
point, it's right there. You just pull the potty, put a new wax ring down, you're done. But yeah, no, it's the Pittsburgh potty is ubiquitous, and for the homes that need building drain work, they need repairs in their basement, underneath the basement floor. A lot of those are older homes, and so the older homes, I guess there was just a sale on toilets or something back then. But yeah, a lot of the older homes all have it.
Let's put one over here.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we're constantly, when we do building drain systems, which is really common, people with cast iron at this point in the cast iron's life, it's getting rotted, it's failing. You're getting a lot of clogs and backups because they're not flowing properly, and so we're having to pull and replace a lot of Pittsburgh potties. Yeah.
Third time. I love it.
That's it. Keeps coming up.
Another great show. I appreciate everybody joining. Stick around for our next episode. We're glad to have you. Thank you.